The Plainville Board of Education, preparing students for success in a changing global society.
Correcting the record, that was Phil Sanders.
Phil Johnson was one of the other men at Toffelon when I started. There were two of us, and they tried to move me to Wheeler, and the Toffelon PTO threw a stink. And I have my own article from the Hartford Courant, Save Mr. Sanders. That's not what we're here to talk about, though. We're here to talk about Barb. Barb sent me a great rundown of her career, which I printed out and read several times and left on my desk. So I am going to draw from my memory. And my memory from Barb is relatively recent, but I think it really speaks to what her career has been. And that has been a love of art, a love of children, and a love of the process. Every interaction that I had with Barb was about creating, about synthesizing, about getting the most out of the kids. And it came from her love of the children and her relationships that she built with them. Everybody has some challenging kids. Barb was able to take those kids and find out how to get through that little crack and have them produce art that they were proud of, that they showed off, that represented them. It's an art, I think it's genetic, that people in this room have that ability to find a way into kids, tough kids, easy kids, all kids. You know, Barb obviously has that gene. I have seen many art shows of fantastic art. She took special interest in some of those troubled kids because she knew that she wanted to get in there and she wanted to find that artistic piece and help them. They may not be able to represent themselves through their language, and they may not be able to represent through their academics, but they were able to find it through the art. She has very special relationships with her kids. I know that she's maintained them over the years, which is fantastic. And that really tells me that it's about the love of teaching, and it's about the love of art. You know, personally, I'm good at painting with a roller. Barb is able to have kids from any background, any milieu, be able to take the pieces of the materials and put together something that represents them. One thing about Barb, though, if you need any egg cartons, I might have maybe 1,200. If you need any milk cartons, I might have 1,600 or so of them. So she's very good at collecting, very good at saving. Barb, I wish you all the luck. I know it was kind of a challenge for you to make this decision. You went back and forth, and we talked several times, and we are truly sad to see you go, but we know that you're going to go on to happier things and fulfilling things, and I hope you stay involved. I hope you stay involved with the Linden family, the Plainville family. You are a part of it. You will always be a part of it, and I wish you the best of luck.
And don't go too far, Barb. We're going to do a group photo at the end and then a reception. So now I'd like to ask Lynn LeGoit to come up to speak to her two retiring teachers, Gail Osland and Claire Fournier.
Good evening. My voice has been in and out lately, so I got some stuff. I went to the doctors. I said, you just need to give me 2 hours of talking today. And he said he didn't think he could do that, but so far so good. All right. I couldn't miss this evening no matter what because we have two very special retirees tonight. I'm going to tell you a little bit about each one of them. 29 years ago, a young Claire Fournier joined the staff at Tafalon School after leaving a job at the State Department of Mental Retardation, which is now the Department of Developmental Services. 5 years later, Gail Oslin left the same department, and she came to Tafalon also. Over the next 20-something years, both Claire and Gail would spend their time doing some of the best teaching that Tafalon has seen, serving in a variety of important positions. Claire took the path of teaching special education, first grade, reading recovery, and then became an instructional resource teacher. Claire excelled in all of her positions. In her most recent position of IRT, Claire has been an invaluable source for all things early literacy. She loves to learn and is constantly sharing common sense, teacher-friendly articles and tips with all of us. She works shoulder to shoulder in classrooms, helping teachers figure out their most puzzling students. But I suspect her passion always remained in working at a small kidney-shaped table, teaching 5- and 6-year-olds how to read. The district money that was spent many years ago on training Claire in reading recovery was a tremendous investment. It ignited in Claire a passion for research-based reading strategies, all balanced with a strength-based, rather than deficit-based, approach to teaching our most struggling learners. For Claire's kids, the cup is always half full. It is true that Claire spent a year as Plainville's Teacher of the Year. And although this is an enormous honor, I suspect that even that recognition did not bring Claire the same joy as helping some busy little first grade boy unlock the mystery of learning. Years ago, I said that teacher DNA runs through her veins, but there is more to Claire. She's a very devoted mom, grandmother, and wife. She has lots of talents and interests to keep her busy in retirement. So, here's how I picture Claire on a random Tuesday in next October. Claire will wake up and choose the perfect outfit from her leisure wardrobe. Of course, matching her skin tone of autumn. Some time will be spent reading to her grandson, Ben, and doing some girl stuff with the only other girl in the family, her granddaughter, Emma. Of course, there will be some time working on a masterpiece scrapbook, probably of the grandkids, and then some time reading a good book, followed by a strong retell and a few comprehension questions. Next, Claire will unlock a few mysteries by researching a French-Canadian genealogy site. For dinner, she will prepare a gourmet supper for her husband, Lee, of course, from the Blue Apron box. She will end her evening planning her assault on the Highlands of Scotland, looking for her heritage and hoping to step through a circle of stones back to the days of Outlander. Now a little more about Gail Oslin. Gail came to Tafalon 24 years ago, and like Claire, she also brought a great deal of special education skills with her. Her path included special education resource, reading recovery, Wilson reading, and head teacher. Gail also excelled in each and every one of those positions. As a special education teacher, Gail just about adopts her kids for their entire careers at Tafalon. In many cases, she seems to adopt not only the child, but the whole family. Once you are assigned to Gail, you are her kid forever, and she will delight in your every accomplishment through high school and beyond. Most recently, Gail taught reading to some of our most challenged and hardest working students. As you pass by her doorway, you can usually hear Gail tapping out words, accentuating the schwa sound, giving tons of encouragement, and rewarding kids with stretchy frogs from the dollar store and lots of Sour Patch candy. Gail also did reading recovery training and joined that close-knit group of dedicated colleagues. Notice that tonight I'm saying colleagues, not my usual word, cult. I don't want to scare anyone. These reading recovery colleagues could always be found collaborating to plan the most effective instruction for our most challenging readers. Gail is truly the champion of the underdog. Although she dresses impeccably and always presents with a sense of grace and style, she has a special place in her heart for the kid in the most ragtag clothing, with wild hair, no pencil, no lunch, half-finished work, a lost permission slip, and only one sock. She will work nonstop to make that child believe that he or she figured out a word that no one else could ever have gotten, wrote the best-looking Q that's ever been made, read a book with the most fantastic expression imaginable, and wrote the most jaw-dropping story about a trip to the grocery store, and is on his or her way to the top of the world, all while giving them a snack, filling their water bottle, and tying their shoes. I got to know Gail most when she served as Tafalon's head teacher. You could not find a more dedicated and hardworking head teacher. She served on just about every committee, ran lots of activities, interviewed half of the staff we now have, and did everything that needed doing, all with a class and a style that will never be matched. She did lots of work to move Tafalon forward during those years, and we wouldn't be where we are without her. But more noticeably, since she's stepped down, for our big events, our napkins never match our plates, and we barely even have centerpieces anymore. But don't think that Gail will just be sitting around pining away for Tafalon in her retirement. Here's my vision of a typical retirement day for Gail. She'll start the day early, probably before most of us non-retirees are even up. She'll text out a few photos of her beloved grandson, Luke, doing something amazing, like eating Jell-O. Next, she'll check in with her two much-loved daughters, Kirsten and Kelly. Gail will be at CVS as they open their doors, coupons in hand. She will find stuff at CVS that mere amateurs like us don't even know they sell. As she checks out at the register, they will ring that special bell that they have for customers who have so many bonus bucks and coupons that CVS ends up owing them money. Then she'll head over to TJ Maxx to pick up a new beach bag, some designer brand we've never heard of, but she knows is quite a bargain. She'll shop around for a bit and find more Fastanisha deals. After collecting her spoils, she will head to the beach, covering her well-manicured toes in the sand. Gail will pull a few books out of her beach bag, most notably her beloved Bella and Rosie series, and read about the adventures of those two rascally, fluffy little white dogs. She'll spend a few moments dreaming of getting her own fluffy, white, foo-foo dog, but we all know that she'll never actually get one. Gail will return home, taking a moment to stop and pluck that one wayward weed that dares to grow in her flowers. She will then slip into her favorite pajamas, not the ratty flannel ones that we all wear, but her special pure silk ones that come from that store with the little pink shopping bags. Gail will then roll out her massive vault collection of greeting cards and write out a few dozen to celebrate some obscure holiday that no one else ever acknowledges. Finally, she will settle in for a little TV viewing, stopping to get emotional and cry profusely over some show or a random pudding commercial, before heading off to sleep at her bedtime, 7:30. So, as you can see, 20-something years ago, Tafalon got really lucky by luring both Gail and Claire away from the state. They both have been such huge parts of the success of Tafalon that we can't imagine school without them. Their retirement will be a huge blow to the school, one that's going to take us a while to recover from. I want to end with a story about a story. We started off this year with a book, like we always do, but this one reminds me of Gail and Claire. The book is You Be You by Linda Krantz. In the book, we follow a little fish named Ari as he explores the ocean and learns to value all the fish in the sea. The ones that swim up and the ones that swim down, the ones that are colorful and the ones that are plain, the ones that swim fast and the ones that swim slow. You get the idea. At the end, Ari exclaims, "There are so many of us. We all have something special that only we can share." His papa agrees. We can learn so much from each other. There are millions of fish in the deep blue sea, but that's what makes the world so colorful and beautiful. And then his mama tells him, life is a grand journey. You be you. We don't need this little fish to tell us that everyone has a spark of brilliance and is capable of greatness. We've been lucky enough to have Gail and Claire teach us that, as they found the sparks of brilliance in every child for over the past 20-plus years. Claire and Gail, I've always been proud to work with you, and I'm proud to call you friends. Congratulations on an outstanding career, and we wish you all of the best in your retirement. Now, you can't let this moment go by without taking the microphone. Not me. I don't know, I have a lot of germs. You sure you want to do this?
If I call in sick tomorrow, it's your fault.
It's all right, you guys, we still have plenty of sick days.
Are you going to talk? I was going to say a few words.
Go ahead.
I really don't, I wasn't going to talk, but I want to thank Dr. Brummett, Mrs. Legoik, Ms. Trzynski, and the Plainville Board of Education members for all the honor and tribute that you have given me tonight. I am very grateful that I have worked in such a supportive, nurturing environment for 24 years. I have been blessed to work with a wonderful principal, professional administrations, and extraordinary colleagues. I have been given many opportunities to grow. Lynn and Maureen didn't answer them, so I'm not going to repeat them. It is the most rewarding part of teaching to be able to see every student grow and succeed. I will miss you all, and I will bring many fond memories with me. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate everything.
What she said. I just basically thank you all for this lovely recognition and this evening. Being a member of this educational community for the past 29 years has really been a joy.
Wait, Gail made it through.
This is totally off script.
Yeah, no, it's been a joy and a fulfillment of a shy little French girl's dream to be a teacher. There's nothing else I ever wanted to be or do. And I'm so proud and happy to be here. It's been a pleasure, a privilege to have served as a pre-K special ed teacher, a first grade teacher, and a reading interventionist, and now with so many wonderful colleagues as an instructional resource teacher. I have to say the administrators and leaders afforded me so many professional development opportunities over the years to really grow and learn. I'm truly so fortunate to have landed here in Plainville. I'm grateful for the past and present administrators and board members who sought to develop Plainville schools as to be one of the best little schools in Connecticut, little districts in Connecticut. And I'm very proud to have served the children and families here along with so many wonderful colleagues. Thank you.
I would now like to ask Principal of Wheeler School, Andrew Batchelder, to come up to celebrate two of his professionals, Patty Chaffee and Mary Ann McCarthy.
Principal Legoik, do you have any bacterial wipes? Anyone want to guess what Principal Legoik's going to be when she retires? Stand-up comedian. There you go. Down in New York City. One of the funniest people I've ever met. travel agent. Thank you, Dr. Brummett and the Board of Ed and future Superintendent LePage. It's my pleasure and honor to be here tonight to speak on two educators and people that have had such a positive impact on Wheeler School, on everybody in it, the district, and me personally and professionally. It's been such a pleasure and honor to be here to talk about both of you. I'll start with Patty. So Patty started her career in West Haven, Connecticut in 1975 as a fourth grade teacher. She saw the light fairly quickly and applied and got hired to teach at Wheeler in 1979 as a fifth grade teacher. She taught fifth grade until 1982, where she took some time off to raise her three children, Brian, Katie, and Shannon. After her children got a little older, she returned to Plainville and worked as a special education paraprofessional at Linden in 1991, then continuing to climb back up the ladder as a literacy tutor at Wheeler from 1993 until 1997. And in 1997 until present, she served as Wheeler's reading recovery teacher and now instructional resource teacher. Patty also has a love and a fondness for reading recovery, and that's where her roots are. So to me, this equates to 29 years, a 29-year career as a certified teacher, 25 of those serving at Wheeler Elementary School, but a 44-year career of teaching, learning, and caring for children, both inside and outside of school. I'm sure anyone who has ever worked at Wheeler, both past and present, knows Patty has a great love for learning, teaching, leadership, collaborating with colleagues, socializing, and cheerful greetings to everyone every day. Patty's positive qualities have without a doubt helped make Wheeler a great place to teach and learn every day. So to give you a little history about the involvement of Patty's role, shortly before I arrived to Wheeler as principal, Patty's role as a reading recovery teacher began to morph into a literacy or instructional resource teacher. I remember discussing this new role with Patty, and it was a significant change for her. She was moving from a very quiet, small room next to the nurse's office to the big stars room, joining another instructional resource teacher and 4 tutors. This transition in job roles also involved Patty moving from working with only Wheeler's most struggling readers to co-planning, co-teaching, and working with 7 teachers and the 150 students who make up Wheeler's K through 2. In addition, her new position continued to expand, including collaborating once a week with all instructional resource teachers in the district, leading PLCs, and presenting to teachers on PD days. I recall Patty being very excited about these changes, but also very nervous. I remember Patty working very late one night in her classroom, over-preparing, as usual, for her first PD presentation to her colleagues. Much like if one of my own children or wife were feeling nervous, I wanted to take all that nervousness away from Patty. Of course, I couldn't do that. I remember saying, "Patty, you will be fine. You'll do great. You're prepared and you got this." And I remember Patty saying to me, "I don't know, Andrew. This is all so new to me. I have to present to my colleagues." In the end, and unsurprisingly, Patty proved to be very effective at providing professional development for our teachers in district. That's one of the many characteristics that make Patty an incredible teacher. She courageously tackles new teaching and learning experiences and teacher leadership opportunities. Patty, as you move off into retirement, please know that several teachers approached me during this hiring process for your position. They said, "We have to find someone really good." Patty set the bar high for all of us at Wheeler. I believe your colleagues were referring to your tireless work ethic, your detailed planning for high-quality co-taught lessons, your quick responsiveness to student and staff needs, your deep understanding of your craft, and your clear oral and written communication skills. Patty, you have captured the hearts and minds of your colleagues, your students, and really anyone with whom you've ever worked. I will miss the high level of credibility and support and dependability you continuously gave to teachers, administrators, and the students at Wheeler. I will close by saying, Patty, I became a better teacher, school leader, husband, and father because of you, and you have been paramount in making Wheeler, the Wheeler family, a caring community of lifelong learners. On behalf of Plainville Community Schools and your Wheeler family, thank you very much, Patty, and may your retirement be filled with fun, relaxations, and special times with family and friends. Now Mary Ann McCarthy. Mary Ann has served at Wheeler as a literacy tutor for 21 years. But you haven't only been a tutor, Mary Ann. You've been a wonderful colleague, collaborator, interventionist, assessor, English language learner resource, friend, mother, and supporter to Wheeler School and everyone in it. Mary Ann, you have naturally played a key role in shaping the familial culture that exists at Wheeler today. Unlike many of us here at Wheeler, you have had the great fortune of seeing all your students you have positively impacted progress year to year all the way up through college, which is truly amazing. Without a doubt, many of those students you have taught would never have made it as far as they did without you teaching them how to read and write. Mary Ann, I personally will miss your lovely greetings every day, watching you and Carol get over 10,000 steps a day, hustling through the halls of Wheeler. I will miss your dependability, expertise, sense of humor, and love for learning in children. Mary Ann, on behalf of Plainville Community Schools and your Wheeler family, thank you for all you've done to positively touch our lives and make Wheeler a great place to teach and learn.
Oh, wait a minute now. Photo op. I'd now like to invite Mr. Guarino to the podium to honor Marcia Prokop, who could not be here, but we are still going to say a few nice words about her anyway.
Thank you, Dr. Brummett, and members of the board. I want you to know, and I wish Marcia was here, but I hope she's doing something a little bit more enjoyable than listening to me, how lucky and fortunate we are to get the kind of quality and dedicated work from people who we've hired at a paraprofessional salary. Because Marcia, you know, she should be making as much as anybody here for the amount of work that she did for the Plainville district. She arrived long before I arrived 13 years ago at the middle school, and she's been a library paraprofessional there, as well as in recent years at the elementary school. And you may not recognize her because behind the scenes she has been doing some of the most devoted, dedicated, wonderful work at our library. She is a smiling, welcoming, approachable face in the middle school library for all kids and all teachers when they come in looking for a book, some technology, and she is incredibly creative too, and unflappable. I would go into the library and I'd say, Marcia, I'm going to do this reading challenge where I'm going to eat a bunch of worms if the kids eat 1,000 books. Next day, there's a bulletin board that says, worms, we're out to read more. Pictures of me eating worms and books and keeping track of the whole thing. It's amazing. And then I'll say, Marcia, I'm going to get dunked in a dunk tank. The next day, there's a beautiful bulletin board with let's dive into reading with pictures of books flying into pools and all kinds of great stuff. She's incredibly creative. And as I said, unflappable. I might walk in at 2:45 and say, oh, Marcia, because she was in charge of technology and getting it set up. And she stayed up to date from the times of the old, the old film projectors. You like roll that thing in there, overhead projectors, to smart boards and laptops. She knew it all. So, Marcia, we've got like 5 guest speakers coming into the auditorium this afternoon in about 15 minutes, and I forgot to tell you. Nick, I go out, I come back, everything's set up. Sound's ready, computers ready, all ready to go. Without, and she was supposed to go home like an hour before. She's doing all of that. So she was a wonderful, wonderful resource at the middle school, Plainville, and I'm sure at the elementary schools as well. We will miss her tremendously. And again, I hope as she moves off into the next endeavor, she's happy and healthy and has a wonderful life. So thanks, Marcia.
I'd now like to invite Carl Johnson, principal of Plainville High School, to speak about Michael Richters.
Good evening. It has been unfortunate that I've only been able to get to know Mike for these past 3 years. In that time, he has been at PHS. He has left a lasting impact on our school and community. Michael came to PHS in 1995, at least according to Mr. Pyers, so if he's wrong, I apologize. Since that time, he has taught art at PHS. For those keeping track, that would mean that he's been here for 23 continual years of art instruction. Most recently, and I think his passion, he has been an instructor in our Photoshop classes at PHS. It's a pretty poorly kept secret that when I'm having a tough day as principal, one of my favorite things to do is to take a walk to the other side of the building and visit the art rooms. Visiting Mike's room and seeing students and their creativity unleashed has a calming influence on me. Sometimes a little scary, to be honest. Don't know if anyone saw the eagle face on a baby that was outside. But nonetheless, usually very calming. I love watching him work with students, getting them to try a new skill or refine their artistic talents. In my senior interviews, Mike has come up often. One student mentioned that he was always pushing him to do better, always pushing him to be a better artist. Another student said that he was going to pursue graphic design because of Mike's classes. Most of all, students mentioned the relationships he formed with them and that he was always there for them. The highest compliment I can pay a teacher, and I told the faculty this the other day, is that it would be hard for me to imagine a building without them. I'm having a tough time imagining PHS without Mike next year. His unique brand of humor, the respect he garners among the faculty, his constant willingness to help out in quiet ways will all be missed here. Most importantly, though, our students are going to miss Mr. Richters and the way he has always been there to support them. Thank you.
I'm not prepared, but I do want to say that I came here when I was 45 years old. I had worked out in the real world before that. It was a scary change. It was one I thought I was ready for. Plainville High School, this is the only place I've been, opened their arms to me and have held them open for the last 24 years. It's meant the most to me. Had great students along the years right here. They taught me more than I taught them, and it's just been a great relationship. They've made me ready to go out and try another chapter. So I feel very emboldened to do that, and I thank you all. Steve LePage, I've had the honor of working with you, Dr. Brummett, of course, Carl Johnson. So I've been able to work under some great leadership and great support for the arts, great colleagues, students. So thank you.
I'd now like to invite Special Education Director Vicki Trzynski to speak about Christine Switek, one of our paraprofessionals who couldn't be here this evening, but we did want to say a few kind words.
Tonight I'm very proud to honor Christine Switek. Christine Switek came to us in September of 2004. She worked most of her time at the middle school of Plainville and at Plainville High School as a paraprofessional with kids with significant developmental disabilities. And one of the things that's so amazing with Christine is that she really treated every single one of the children she was working with as family. Not only did she personally invest her time and energy, she was also very crafty and spent lots of time teaching kids to do lots of different crafts, knitting, She taught a couple to crochet. She also loved quilting and paperwork, and really it was just amazing to see them find many different talents of their own and being able to do things that made them feel like they were contributing to the school, to the community, and to their families. Christine did retire after 13 years in the district on November 30th of 2018, and we do wish her luck in her retirement. Thanks.
So that concludes our retirement celebration, but I can't possibly top all the kind words that were said by our administrators, and they were very well thought out words. But I just would be remiss without saying that in this room, just celebrated, is over 160 years of collective experience that you have all contributed to our district in many different ways. And as I believe Claire quoted, it's made us one of the best districts in the state of Connecticut, and you will be sorely missed. But as I always say, before people retire, please come back as a substitute. We would really need good quality substitutes here in Plainville. So please see me if that's of an interest to you. All right. And before for those of you that are here for the regular board meeting, we're running a little bit behind schedule this evening, but we would like to offer our retirees a little cake celebration, and then we'll conclude resume our regular board meeting in about 10 minutes. So thank you very much and congratulations. Oh, and Lynn Davis wants to do a group photo of all the retirees.
I didn't know you could talk at these, so I just want to quickly say thank you to Plainville. I was teaching in Avon half-time, and I was going for my master's, and I took a class with Ann Pinkpank, who taught at Plainville High School, and she said, "We have an opening full-time," and I said, "Oh." So I came over and I interviewed with Lois Lanning, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. I just want to thank the district for their support. As a new teacher, I was hired 4 days a week, and then we joined the Bushnell Partners program. And I was the district liaison to the elementary schools for 9 years, something I never, ever thought I could do or would do. You encouraged me, you supported me. I was able to do that. During the time I was instructional leader, I got up the courage to ask if we could move the art show from the high school gym to the library. So instead of being up for 3 days, it's up for a month. I think that's my legacy, is the art show being at the library. But I will miss everyone. I'll miss my kids, and I will be back. I'll be here. But thank you for everything you've given me.
So if our retirees could come up for a group photo back at the backdrop, please, and the rest of our guests, please start enjoying some cake. I think Joan got a big enough cake for double the crowd, so hope you brought your appetites.
You could please stand and lead us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have our first special presentations for Everyday Heroes.
So I am very pleased to announce that our final Everyday Hero for the school year is Miss Christine Harkey. She's a middle school teacher, special education teacher at the Middle School of Plainville, and she was nominated by Kelly Nera, who is here this evening along with her son Dale and her husband. So here's what she writes. Dear Dr. Brummett and Mr. LePage, I want to take this time to recognize Christine Harkey. Mrs. Harkey is a tremendous asset to Plainville and deserves to be recognized for her efforts. She has touched our lives in so many ways that it's hard to describe in words. When I think of all that she has accomplished and helped our son Dale accomplish in the 3 years that he's been a student at MSP, it is truly amazing. Mrs. Harkey is not only a phenomenal teacher, she is an inspiration and the definition of a true hero. Throughout the last 3 years, Mrs. Harkey has devoted herself to Dale's success. She has celebrated his accomplishments, both in school and outside of school, pushed him just enough but not too far, supported him through some very difficult challenges, encouraged him to persist, given him the confidence in himself to try new things, served as his voice when he felt like he didn't have one, and advocated for him despite pushback from other teachers or administration, and never gave up when others didn't believe in his abilities. No matter how many challenges Dale faced coming to the middle school, Mrs. Harkey made us feel like anything was possible and truly cared about Dale and his journey at MSP. She didn't just want him to get through it. She wanted Dale to succeed and do well, and to eventually be able to be independent and not have to rely on a paraprofessional. As a result, Dale felt more confident and secure in his abilities and thrived. The growth under Mrs. Harkey's teaching was tremendous and so wonderful as a parent to watch. Although our son is leaving MSP for this year for the high school, I know that Mrs. Harkey and her guidance will always be with him wherever he goes. Thank you, Mrs. Harkey, for believing in our son and giving him the invaluable tools that you have given him these last 3 years. Plainville is lucky to have you as such a wonderful teacher. Sincerely, Kelly Nera. Well, let's do a picture. Come on up, Veneras. Our next item on the agenda is to acknowledge our Teacher of the Year. And to introduce our Teacher of the Year, I'm bringing up our current Teacher of the Year, Melissa Dodenhoff, second grade teacher at Linden Street School. Come on up, Melissa.
This is not my favorite thing. But thank you, Dr. Brummett, Mr. LePage, administrators, members of the Board of Education, colleagues, and guests. I am so honored and privileged to introduce to you my friend and respected colleague, Linden Street School's music teacher, Marilyn Speranza. Marilyn is one of the most dedicated, enthusiastic teachers I've ever met. Her passion for music and teaching is unparalleled and evident through her students' desire to sing, play instruments, and learn about famous composers and musicians. Marilyn teaches pre-K through grade 5, and she's always smiling, even when she's listening to third graders learn how to play the recorder, and the only noises in that classroom are sharp squeaks and whistles from the eager-to-learn third graders in October. And then finally, their musically talented third graders achieve recorder mastery belt by June. Marilyn challenges her students to persevere and embrace their musical journeys. You can find Marilyn singing Little Red Caboose in the hallways while transitioning the kindergarten classes from room to room. I literally plug my ears. She has her students record themselves on iPads playing the recorder as a formative assessment. And she introduces new and fun instruments in the classroom that enhances the students' understanding of the curriculum. And by the time students are in 4th and 5th grade, the chorus concerts sound beautiful. Marilyn not only teaches the students many multicultural and diverse song selections, but she also emphasizes the importance of stage presence, being poised and self-confident, evidenced by the number of students willing and able to perform solos. Not only has Marilyn impacted and grew the music program at Linden, but she's also inspired the music programs across the district. Marilyn was the first to implement Music in the Schools Week, inviting parents into her classroom to showcase the skills and songs learned throughout the school year. It was such a success, all elementary schools have adopted this special week into their yearly schedule. Marilyn and her colleagues have also written many grants, allowing professional groups such as West End Blend, and my personal favorite, Backtrack Vocals, to visit the elementary schools. The music department is such a strong collaborative group of musicians that they've even formed their own bluegrass band named Rag'em Banjum. Sorry if I said it wrong. Woo! Marilyn's talents far exceed music. She is a true professional and has dedicated herself to volunteering time at many school and community events. She's DJ Sprendizzle for Linden Snowflake Sway, coordinates school-wide town meetings with her teammate Melissa Patterson, organizes vocal performances for Flag Day and Field Day and other special events, and schedules classes each week to help with the morning announcements. Marilyn also volunteers her time at the Monster and Color runs as a DJ, runner, or anything else needed. She runs a station at Linden's Cadathlon, has successfully implemented a mindfulness and yoga class for staff after school on Mondays. And finally, Marilyn is an active member of Plainville's Democratic Party. And these are just a few samplings of her time spent in and out of school. I cannot think of a more deserving educator to receive this recognition, and I am beyond thrilled to introduce to you my friend and colleague, Plainville's 2019-2020 Teacher of the Year, Marilyn Speranza.
Thank you so much for those kind words. That was really, really nice of you. Good evening, everyone. I stand here with deep gratitude in accepting the role of Plainville's Teacher of the Year. I was delightfully surprised with this honor at a school concert in front of Linden's wonderful students. The day after the announcement, my kindergarten students noticed the balloons in my classroom. Balloons! Those are the balloons from your big surprise, one student said. Another chimed in, what was that surprise anyway? I explained that I had been awarded Teacher of the Year, and the students asked, what does that mean? I told the kindergartners that the other teachers wanted to recognize me for doing a good job, and one boy's hand shot up. I called on him, and he said, then why didn't you get a sticker? He said, I got this sticker at the doctor. Another girl raised her hand. I said, yes. She said, I got this one for being good at recess. Suddenly, I felt a sense of nakedness. No sticker. And another student declared, you really should have gotten a sticker. The whole class agreed that I really should have gotten a sticker. Personally, I love the bouquet of flowers and the balloons, but next year, think about adding a sticker. Yeah, start designing. But sincerely, thank you to the Board of Education for this honor. Your time and dedication to the children of Plainville truly make you unsung heroes. Thank you to Dr. Brummett and Mr. LePage for always supporting the arts in our schools. You've been active supporters of our students' music making. You even make time to attend our concerts. Thank you very much. Dr. Brummett, you'll be sorely missed next school year, but I'm confident that Mr. LePage will continue to lead our district in a way that's best for our students. A huge thank you to the teachers of Plainville who've presented me with this honor. I'm lucky to be able to walk in the footsteps of former Teachers of the Year from Linden, Melissa Dodenhoff, thank you, Melissa Patterson, and Talia Stevenson. I've learned so much from watching these gifted teachers, and I'm very thankful for all that they've taught me. I love working with the children of Plainville. It's one thing to teach music, and it's another to teach music in a community that truly values the arts. The world can be harsh, and life can be hard for people of any age. Increasingly, teachers are greeting students who struggle with mental health conditions or trauma. Music provides solace. Through creating, performing, and listening to music, one can connect with and cope with her emotions. Music teachers show children how to sense the expressiveness in music and relate to music in a feelingful way. I help children to develop aesthetic sensitivity so they can listen, perform, or create when they need it most. On Friday, my students were given a ukulele assignment. The assignment was to watch a ukulele tutorial and independently learn a song. One student asked if he could write his own song instead. Of course, I obliged. And I watched as this child just poured his emotions out through the ukulele strings. At the end of the class, he played the song for me. He thanked me for letting him make his own music and told me that he didn't know where he would be without music. He proceeded to explain how he uses music to find ease and comfort when he's struggling with his feelings, and he has some very big feelings. I was pained that someone so young struggled with such big troubles, but I was so happy that he found an outlet through music. So thank you so much for supporting me in doing this important work, and I will do my very best to merit the recognition of Teacher of the Year. Thank you. Okay. Should I bring this? Get all your job cues out. This is for you. This is for you. Thank you.
And I would now like to invite Carl Johnson to the podium to honor our Governor's Scholar, Christopher St. Lawrence.
Good evening again. Tonight I would like to honor Christopher's achievement of being named one of the Connecticut Association of Schools Governor's Scholars for 2019. This award was created by the Connecticut Association of Schools to honor outstanding juniors in the state of Connecticut. To be eligible for this award, nominees must be in the top 5% of their class, have very strong scores on the PSAT, and maybe most challengingly, must be advanced writers. Each nominee is required to write a timed essay of 60 minutes on a topic selected by the award committee and only revealed when they begin the essay online. A committee of Connecticut school administrators then chooses the recipients. This year, Chris was selected as one of only 22 students to receive this distinction and was presented to the governor for this special recognition. As a Governor's Scholar, Chris is entitled to free college classes this summer and during next school year at almost all of Connecticut's institutions of higher learning. He is also entitled to an academic excellence scholarship at the University of Connecticut in the amount of $7,500 per year if he so chooses to attend. Chris is a member of the National Honor Society, and I believe, based on the certificate as of a few moments ago, he is also a member of the Science National Honor Society. He has also been a member of the PHS swim team for all 3 years of his high school career. Although if you speak to Chris for a short period of time or you know him, his greatest passion, though, is film. At this time, he plans to pursue film studies as a major in college, and he hopes to be a director one day. Naturally, Chris is a film buff of the highest order. And although I have found some holes in his catalog from our talks, I will give him a pass, being that he's only 16 years old. He is, though, an excellent judge of artistic talent, in that just last week I was a supporting role in one of his APUS films. Just a side note, I gotta tell you how much you have to trust a student when they tell you to show up and just film a 30-second clip that you have no idea what it is in relation to, or why you are saying what you are saying, or why you are standing where you are standing, but I have no doubt that Chris will be using that for good purposes. So I think maybe that speaks highest of all of Chris. So we are incredibly honored to have Chris represent Plainville this year. We were lucky enough on May 13th to attend an awards banquet for the 22 Governor Scholars. And we are incredibly humbled by this rare distinction that has been bestowed on Chris by the Connecticut Association of Schools. Congratulations.
this is like the best board meeting of the year. We're celebrating, having cake. They're not all like this, Mr. LePage. But let's enjoy them. It's my distinct pleasure to honor our student board liaison who is graduating this year, Madeline Rund. I've had the pleasure of knowing her over these past 2 years, and I turn to her school counselor, Onetta Lamont, for a few remarks this evening. Here's what she says. Madeline Rund is one of the most involved students at Plainville High School. Leadership, hard work, persistence, and maturity are the words that describe this incredible young woman best. Maddie's academic achievements are very apparent as you take a look at her transcript. She has earned a 4.0 GPA and is ranked 6th in her class of 167 students, while challenging herself by taking a very rigorous course load. Maddie's persistence and hard work are demonstrated by her yearly high honor roll status and her membership in the National Honor Society, Spanish Honor Society, and the Science National Honor Society. What the transcript doesn't show, however, are Maddie's strong organizational and time management skills, which have helped her to do well academically while working 20 hours a week at a local grocery store, participating in and leading many clubs and activities at school, and mentoring younger students. During her time at PHS, Maddie has grown from a mature and goal-oriented student to a natural leader with strong advocacy and communication skills and a passion for bettering other students and her school. Maddie is a member of the Positive Kids Influencing Kids and the Devil's Advocate program, through which she mentors 8th and 9th grade students in their transition to high school. In addition, Maddie gives back to her community by volunteering her time to support a 2nd grade teacher in the classroom. To positively affect the PHS student body, Maddie has served as the president of her class for the past 3 years, and she's been president of the National Honor Society for the past 2 years. Because of her leadership skills and advocacy for school improvement, Maddie was elected the student liaison to the Board of Education, which, according to Maddie, is the experience that has sharpened her public speaking skills the most. The skills Maddie has gained through her involvement in leadership positions in these clubs have taught her responsibility, time management, and self-advocacy, which will help her succeed at the college level. Maddie is attending the University of New Haven to study music and business. She was awarded a yearly scholarship of $22,000. We are confident that she will continue to excel academically and stay involved at her college just as she did at PHS. We thank her for her service as the student liaison to the board and wish her the best of luck in her future endeavors. And I have to say, just hanging out with Maddie at a leadership workshop, she's just a really, really nice young lady who was a pleasure to spend about 3 hours with that day. And we just had a lot of fun things to talk about. And of course, I had to get her back to school early because there was the Mr. PHS thing to do that night. So we were like driving back fast from the Bushel. So clearly a well-rounded, I think I've seen her at every awards ceremony over the past couple weeks, and I'm reasonably certain I'll see her Thursday evening as well. Congratulations for a job well done. Thank you. All good stuff. Yeah. All right. I believe that concludes our special presentations for this evening.
Okay. Are we ready? Okay. May I get a motion for the approval of the request of minutes for May 13th, 2019, regular business meeting of the Board of Education. Joan, could I do these all together? And secondly, for the minutes of the Board's executive session special meeting of May 13, 2019, and the Board's special meeting of May 28, 2019.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve the minutes of May 13th, 2019, regular business meeting of the Board of Ed, the minutes of the Board of Ed's executive session, special meeting of May 13th, 2019, and the Board's special meeting of May 28th, 2019.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any corrections or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we'll go on to citizens' comments. Does anybody have anything to say? Okay. No council liaison tonight. Next is the superintendent's report.
Thank you very much, Chairwoman Hardy. I would appreciate if the board would mind making a motion so that I can add a second item to that agenda.
Yeah, Madam Chairman, I would move that we add under the approvals, section 5, item D, the review of the summer school program and also professional development to be conducted during the summer, an update on that. So that would be item D under section 5.
Section 8, item B. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Thank you very much, and which I will get to as our second item. The first item under my report this evening is a report on our district school climate. Mr. LePage has prepared a very detailed and informative report about our survey results for this year and the impact and programming relative to school climate. So I'd like to ask him to make that presentation.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So this is my first presentation as superintendent-elect. So I'll try to make it brief, but meaningful and cover all the bases while keeping it as short as I can.
Forgot to mention it was 37 slides, and we got it down to what, 21? With a little help from his friends.
It was 39 to be fair, but a lot of her pictures. They're still there, but they're attached to the end for a little. While you're asking me, questions, you can look at them.
Steve, we're watching the clock.
I know. Should I start my timer? Okay. So thank you for this opportunity to share some information regarding our district climate and the initiatives that have taken place this year, based on past information from surveys, through a lot of committed work from members of the entire community and school community, and also things we're looking at for the future. That's your cue, Dan. Dan is good. So as you may have seen this document around town a couple of times, in fact, everywhere. But through our vision document and through the collective work of this Board of Education, support of a positive school climate and PBIS initiatives, that's positive behavior interventions and supports, is central to the actions within the students portion of our district vision. So we take that very seriously because without a positive climate and culture, it's very difficult to do positive things for students and to move their future goals forward in a manner that we want to. So this is just a little graphic that I found that I really thought captures the importance of both climate and culture. So climate, really those relationships that make a district better. Through those relationships, staff to staff, student to student, all the relationships that go on within a district in the greater context of the culture within the school district, but also within the town. And we're fortunate to have a very positive climate and a very positive culture in Plainville in general. So within that context, we look for areas that we can possibly grow and improve, and we take initiative to make positive change. So this slide may make you a little dizzy or give you a headache. That was by design. And that everything is not actually up there. These are This is just a list of some of the programs, tools, partnerships with the community, and different elements about our school district that really lend to a positive climate and reinforce positive behaviors. There are many more. I could have just come up here and said, you know, what the retirees and all the special recognition said and just dropped the microphone and walked away, because, I mean, it just tells you so much about the district from hearing those special recognitions. But this gives you a great example of some of the programs that are supporting positive climate in town. So as a district, we have many teams, committees, and programs dedicated to climate. One of the most important elements of a school or district is the climate and greater school culture and how that impacts kids. We have used panorama surveys to capture perception and to plan for areas of need for the future. The district also created an equity task force that's done some terrific work and will continue to address issues of equity across the district moving into the future. Our safe school and district climate plans are updated and submitted to the state each year. Focused areas are determined based on survey and other information that helps us to focus our efforts on climate improvement areas. And most importantly, positive relationships are at the heart of all good things that happen in any district, and there are many, many positive relationships in Plainville. Also at the top of that slide, you'll note that that's actually a link, and this will be posted on the website, this presentation. That link is to the safety forum that we had earlier in the year regarding school safety, because safety and climate go hand in hand. So when we consider school climate, the concept of bullying must be closely monitored, swiftly and fairly addressed, and more importantly, prevented whenever and wherever possible. And we work hard to do that in Plainville through our administrative team. So our bullying investigation commitment, our administrative team never dismisses a complaint and always works to make things right for students who are upset about a peer conflict. So they go through tireless steps to make sure that every issue and every report is addressed thoroughly and satisfactorily. On this next slide, you'll see that this is a summary of all the reports from this year. They're all recorded in Power School, our student information system. At the elementary level, there were 8 bullying concerns that were reported and investigated. None of the 8 met the definition of bullying. There are certain state criteria, and I didn't give you the definition this year as I did last year, but there are certain criteria that must be met to be considered bullying. Otherwise, it's mean-spirited behavior that has to be addressed and put a stop to, but it's not bullying. At MSP, there were 9 bullying concerns reported and investigated, and 3 were verified as bullying, and those are reported to the state. And they were addressed very appropriately by the administration. 6 did not meet the definition of bullying. However, those behaviors were addressed as well. At PHS, there were only 2 bullying concerns reported and investigated, and neither of those met the definition of bullying. So in total, to look at our data around bullying, which definitely relates to school climate and culture, we had an increase from 14 to 19 investigations from last year, which is a 36% increase. However, the number of actual bullying cases dropped by 70% from 10 to 3. So this is a promising statistic. However, we still have work to do, and you'll see in a second with the panorama surveys that we still need to address areas around school safety and school climate. Due to the unfortunate things that happen in our world, it tends to leave students and adults feeling a bit vulnerable to the world around us. So we continue to take steps and measures to make our students and our staff and everyone in our school community feel safer and better about their environment. We did see a drop in the online bullying concerns, so that was a positive thing to note as well. So an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. It's a Benjamin Franklin expression. We don't want to spend too much time looking in the rearview mirror. However, based on a review of relevant and timely data, we are able to use past performance to shape future goals. So this is where, first of all, I'll say that our schools do a tremendous job of making many proactive steps in programs, as you saw on that busy slide, but also steps that make the little things, like this is at Tafalon, but you could see this at any school in town where they greet students at the door, make them feel welcome, make them feel supported, and really help them to feel a part of the school community. And that's a part of being proactive, making that sense that you belong to something greater than yourself and that you're accountable to others as well as yourself. Another thing we look at, as I mentioned earlier, is the panorama survey data. On the topic of prevention, panorama surveys have been one of our primary sources of data around school climate for several years. This program does have a cost to it, and I'm looking at, with our central office team, other possibilities of designing and implementing an internal tool for monitoring these types of things, so stay tuned for more on that. But for the past several years, we've used Panorama, and it has provided us with some very solid data around students in grades 3 through 12, staff, faculty, administration, and families. So just some sound bites from a very large report. I just gave one slide for each group, but you can see that from, or I hope you can see it. If you can't, I can send you a larger slide, but you can see from grades 3 through 5 classroom survey slide that there are high ratings for rigorous expectations at 94%. Pedagogical effectiveness or effective teaching practices are very high, and teacher-student relationships are also extremely high, which is wonderful. Also, the likelihood of online bullying showed a decrease with 91% responding favorably, so only 9% responded that there's some sort of a concern there. That's still more than we want, but it is a decrease from the past. Classroom climate concerns include disrespectful behavior of other students, receiving 64% favorable rating, so that's an area that we will continue to address with our District Safe School Climate Committee. And also worries of school violence, receiving 76% positive, so 24%, if you look on the flip side, having concerns. We continue to address these needs across the district through second step programs, positive behavioral interventions and supports, habits of scholarship work at the middle school, and specific emphasis on respect and responsibility there, and through ongoing vision of the graduate development by Mr. Johnson and his team. We're also working with Yale on the ruler program, which I'll share a little soundbite from in a moment, about improving our culture and climate in the district going forward. So for the grades 6 through 12 classroom survey, once again, rigorous expectations and positive student-teacher relationships are evident from the survey of grades 6 through 12. Students also seem to think the rules are fair, since 91% responded positively to that question, which is important. However, it is not surprising that within the classroom engagement statistic, the question related to excitement about going to class is the lowest number at 77%. I mean, I'm surprised because I used to see students skipping to calculus and physics and chemistry all the time, saying, I can't wait. No, this is a national trend. It tends to drop off the excitement about, it's very difficult and taxing and tiring. And as you heard about, Madeline, students are involved in so much that there's a lot going on. So, but I'm sure Maddie's still very excited about going to every class. So anyway, that's one of the numbers. It brings down that number to 81% for classroom engagement. And also behaviors of others impacting learning is, again, from grades 6 through 12, a bit of a concern, with only 79% having a positive response to that. So again, this helps us to define our future work in the district. On the next survey regarding the school, very positive results from both groups. However, again, school safety and school climate are showing areas that we continue to work on, with a slight decrease in school safety and climate at the 6th through 12th grade, and then also school safety at the elementary school, and again, in climate. These are indicators of kind of a larger global feel. If you just watch the news on any given day, we tend to feel a little less secure in our schools. So there are a lot of steps being taken now and in the future to address that, and I'll share some of those later. Regarding teacher surveys, extremely positive results. I believe the new, well, it's not new anymore, we're going into our third year with it, but the EDSEP, or Educator Development Support and Evaluation Plan, has led to an increase in feedback and coaching, in the feedback and coaching statistic, because teachers observe one another, reflect on videotaped lessons of themselves and peers to learn and improve their practice, instead of top-down supervision, which still happens, but to a lesser degree. There is a clear emphasis on learning and growth across the district, with 93% agreeing, and the pressure of testing and wanting to get students ready for high-stakes tests brings some pressures that impact this score. So you'll see that that one is broken out at 72% around testing. However, not all pressure is bad. It can be stressful. You want your students to do the very best they can, so you work really hard to get them there. But, you know, we try to, I wouldn't say minimize the importance of the test because it is very important, but also balance it with all the other things about school that are important. Regarding family surveys, all I can say is that they're extremely positive, and they went up in most areas over the past year, everything from perception about the quality of education, relationships. Generally, families are very happy, and that's true for parents of special education and regular education students, and that is broken out. I just wanted to share something quickly about our SRO, Jessica Martins. When I looked at this statistic, and we built this in this year for this particular purpose, it did go to the middle schoolers, so you'll see that gray bar on that graph there represents the middle school because they don't have an SRO, so they couldn't really respond. But of all the students who responded at the high school, not every student in high school responds to surveys because, you know, they just don't. It takes some time, and like I said, there's a lot going on. But 90% of the students who did respond expressed feeling safer at PHS due to having SRO Martins here. So I commend you for making that decision, and the administrative team who put that in place. And she's done a tremendous job, and we should be very happy to have her at the high school. So setting a tone for positive district climate happens from the top. You know, I will say Dr. Brummett has done a tremendous job of that as superintendent. We work really hard, but we also have fun in working really hard. You know, she's a superintendent who bakes cookies and brings them around to PLCs when they all have their T-shirts on. We have this sense of unity and of fun, but it's also, you know, fun with a purpose. We're working hard toward a common goal. So it has to start from the top, and it'll continue to come from the top. I might bake brownies. I can make a pretty mean cookie, but I like to put like healthy stuff in it, and some people, you know, oatmeal and, you know, bran and stuff. Nah. I'll make something good. So, you know, all the things you see on this slide are just different ways that we celebrate different groups, from having a breakfast for bus drivers to you know, the students making cards for drivers or paraprofessionals, or all the things we do for veterans and active military. You know, doing the House of Heroes project, and we had almost 20 football players and different student athletes show up and help scrape and paint the whole house in one day. All those things lend to a positive culture and a positive climate in the district, and I think there aren't many districts that do it better than us, if any. So, on the next slide, just a quick, I won't go into much depth here, and you'll have more exposure to this in the future, but emotions do matter. And basically, when it comes down to it, Mark Brackett, who's the Center for Emotional Intelligence, he's the chair at Yale, all of this work around emotions and mood, and this is the mood meter, and you can see what the letters, different letters stand for. In ruler, you know, recognize, you know, identify, label, express, and regulate. If we can control our emotions and control our mood, we can prevent so many negative things from happening just by acknowledging, all right, I'm in a bad place right now. I need to find a way to get to a better place, or I'm in a bad place right now. I'm sad about something. And I'm okay with that, but I need to understand how it impacts other people. So we're doing a lot of work with Ruler. It's really simple, but really complex at the same time. So it starts with training our staff and all of our adults in the building who interact with each other and with students to do a better job with this, including myself, including all the administrative team. We have sent 2 teams for pretty intensive training, and we are going to be sending the rest of our schools, a team from each of our schools, for continued training. So this is just a progression of the work that we've done with Yale so far. I won't read through all of it. As you can see, we've invested significant energy and time into this focus, and there's more to come. We have been able to fund all of this through grants, so we're not using board funds. We're using Title IV Part A, Open Choice Academic Social Student Support Grant. So we've been very fortunate to have the level of involvement with Yale, and we will continue to do so in rolling it out to the students and helping everybody to learn to better understand and regulate their own emotions and mood. Because then everyone gets along a lot better, and it impacts our climate. So students don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. You've heard this before, John Maxwell. It's really true. The importance of relationships can't be understated. And, you know, I've said it in every faculty meeting, first faculty meeting of the year when I was a principal, and we say it all the time. If you focus on positive relationships and you build that foundation, everything else just falls into place. You know, you still have to work hard and be creative at times, but if you have that relationship, you know, it's true of coaching, it's true of anything. The kids still run through walls for you to impress you and to show that they can, you know, produce what you want them to, because they know you care. All right, so almost done. Next steps in ongoing areas of focus. So school safety is really important. If you don't feel safe, it's the Maslow, you know, the pyramid, the hierarchy of needs. You need to have that feeling of safety, that your basic needs are being met. If you don't feel safe and secure, it's really hard to focus on higher order thinking and learning and higher order attainment. So school safety improvements have been made throughout the district, as you're aware of, and as you've helped to fund over the years. We're continuing. We are able to reassign some, based on your decision at a recent meeting, to look at reassigning some realized savings to design the secure entrance here at PHS so that when you walk in, you don't walk into the main hallway and have to cross a steady stream of traffic, and there's really no stopgap there. So we have a basic design in mind, but architects have to design the official design, and the goal is to get that in place as soon as possible. New software and cameras continue to be updated. Kevin and his tech team do a tremendous job, all in-house, and do a tremendous job. A new system called Navigate Prepared will be in place for next year. We've been training all of our administrators, and I've been working closely with that company and the police department. I'm meeting with them later in the summer as well. And we're also looking at installing a system called Mutual Link that I met with a representative last week, which is a panic button feature on it. That'll be on every staff member's cell phone. If they see anything of concern, they can press an app, panic button, and within a second connect with first responders who will get real-time information. So a lot of things are being done behind the scenes that, and I can't tell you all the details, but there's a lot being done to increase the safety and security of our schools. Partnerships to raise awareness on things that are really plaguing youth these days. E-cigarettes and vaping it's a crisis. Of course, drugs continue to plague our youth, and the more that we can do to educate and partner with organizations in the community, which we do a lot of, the better we can help students to prevent, you know, those poor decisions. Mental health supports, as you heard, mental health from the arts and music is such a channel for students to channel their emotions, but mental health supports are needed. It's a very difficult time for kids to be kids and adolescents to be adolescents, so we continue to grow those supports, and we will keep doing so. Emphasis on balancing with technology. Technology is ubiquitous, it's everywhere. We use it for everything, but there are times when you don't need to use it, and I have to teach my own kids, and we're going to do that with our students here. But the 5210 mantra from Healthy Plainville, five servings of healthy fruits and vegetables every day, less than 2 hours, 2 hours or less, I should say, of use of technology for recreational purposes, 1 hour of exercise a day, and that includes like walking to class and everything else, and 0 sugary drinks. That's the goal. Social media survey and programming for next fall. It's an area of concern. We're working on it with our State School Climate Committee, considering a blackout day for technology, where we just put away technology except for educational reasons, or maybe even do without it for one day. And then improved opportunities for reducing stress across the district with all groups. So that is the future focus areas. I know there's a lot of information. Imagine if I had all the slides still in there. So I will say that everyone needs a hero, and this is a bit of a prelude, but I won't give any more away. Heroes come in many forms in Plainville, and we have tremendous people in this district, you know, from the board to the teachers, administrators, staff, custodians, everybody just works really hard, and really good people who are heroes in different ways. So we need to continue to celebrate that, and we'll continue to improve on the areas we need to moving forward. So do you have any questions? And as you're asking me all these questions, Dan will play some slides with just some nice pictures that were going to be in the original presentation. You know, I won't narrate them, but just a lot of really nice pictures of the positive programs across the district. Any questions?
would you be able to forward us your slides?
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, this was a really nice one. I was going to read the whole letter to you, but I was advised against it. There's our music programs, just really.
So, Steve, in
amazing.
the one area where teachers responded about how they felt about testing, the pressure, I think it was like, how much pressure do you feel
Yeah.
about testing?
Yes.
And the fact that that was low, in my estimation, was a positive thing. I mean, how do you read that? I mean, we don't want teachers really stressed out about testing. We want them appropriately stressed out about testing. I mean, you know, there were two different questions, and they both kind of were in the, I want to say 58 percentile, something like that.
Yeah, I looked at that one several times too, and we talked about that in central office when we were looking at some of the survey results. And it's a good point. You want to find balance there because you don't want to be, oh, well, whatever, you know, we'll roll the dice and see how it goes. You want your teachers to prepare the kids as much as possible and to be really, have that as one of their main areas of emphasis, but you don't want them stressed out to the point where it's counterproductive and unhealthy and they feel, you know, like a lack of efficacy and ability to shape the students' outcomes. So I think it's a fine balance. I don't know it's a great question.
Yeah.
So, and I said that about some of the questions, or I don't know if that's a great question, but I think it's just an indicator, you know, that we continue. I think we do a great job with, you know, Rosa, Tawana, all our principals do a great job of really preparing our teachers to be on track, to have the students prepared through all the benchmark assessments and all the work that they do that's embedded into the curriculum. So that when our students sit down to take the test, they're not as stressed out as they would be, and our teachers aren't as stressed out because they know they've prepared the kids. So I think the stress is going down. I remember that number being lower or worse in the past, considered more negative. Yeah.
This one's good. Did you see that picture there of these guys on the floor with the little hats on?
I didn't notice that one. Did you see? I think there was a board member in there with a special hat on.
I think there's somebody in there with a hat on.
Yeah.
There.
Anyway.
Don't recognize.
All right.
Doesn't have the same haircut I recognize.
I'll share the whole presentation with you, and I'm also going to put it on the website so that parents and families can see it. If they'd like to probe any further or ask any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
I believe it was in the packet as well, the presentation.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. LePage, for your informative report. And nice job slipping in the cut slides at the end.
How'd that happen?
How'd that happen? So thank you to the board for allowing me to add an additional agenda item under my report. I've asked Tawana Graham-Douglas, our supervisor of pre-K through 5 curriculum, Rosa Perez, our director of curriculum, and Vicki Drzezinski, our special education director, to give you a sampling or a report of all of the events going on both with children and professional development over the summer. So I will let them make their way to the podium to deliver the presentation. But we have a lot of busyness going on in the summer, even though the students aren't all here.
Yes, well, a lot of teachers and students and people believe that we are 10-month employees. No, we are 12 months employees. A lot happens over the summer in preparation for the opening of the school and just to make sure that we are up to date with everything that needs to be updated over the summer. So we do have professional learning opportunities for teachers. We have curriculum writing, but we also have opportunities for students who need credits and recover their credits, so we have the opportunity for them to also advance over the summer. So Plainville High School, while is quiet, and Linden Street School, while it's quiet, there's a lot of things going on throughout the summer. We are going to have, this is our 3rd year of the Curriculum Academy. Is going to run June 24th through the 27th here in the Learning Commons at PHS from 8 to 1 every single day. We are together in the Learning Commons just for the purpose of helping one another, having resources available to us in the school. I am there with all the teachers the entire week. We have snacks as well because, you know, food brings people together. But we also have the opportunity to collaborate with one another throughout the 4 days from 8 to 1. These are, something happened here in this slide, not the way I see it in my presentation. But in PHS, the following departments are updating and writing curriculum will be English, library media, mathematics, social studies, special education, science, and world language. A lot of the work at the high school, for example, in the sciences, to continue working in the NGSS and how to update the curriculum to meet the demands of NGSS and also the testing for NGSS as well. Math, because they are moving the rotation of the courses, and we have now the middle school students now are going to be juniors. The first group that started with Algebra 1, there's some shifts, so therefore they need to look at the curriculum and make some adjustments. World language is the same. We have students who now are juniors that are going to be really ready for year 4. So now we have to adjust the curriculum. So we have a world language offered to them their senior year. Otherwise, this would have been their last year. Special education with the brand new special education teacher. At the high school, there's going to be revamping of the special education math curriculum for students. At MSP, we are going to have also some special education, but they're also going to improve the PBIS program. And the elementary, the physical education curriculum will be updated, and more work is needed with the preschool, so therefore they're going to also work. Next, we're gonna have the credit recovery here at the high school. It's gonna run from July 8th through August 2nd. Students can recover up to 2 credits. It's open to Plainville residents, but also to non-residents. And there's going to be online courses available, as well as just regular classroom, just traditional. And the Algebra 2 accelerated course will run again. And the math department is the one who is in charge of getting this program and the students that are going to be successful for this. All courses are tuition-based, and when there are students that have a need, they adjust the payment for them. Also, this year, we're going to have the New Britain Youth Theater here at the high school. The traditional classroom courses that are gonna be offered during the summer are gonna be all this list. So these courses are going to have a live teacher in the classroom, and these are going to be the online summer courses through Edgenuity, but they will also have teacher support. But this is the list of classes that are going to be offered online. So thanks to that opportunity to have kind of like a hybrid summer school, we are able to hire less teachers, keep the costs down, but also have the needed supports for all the students.
Dan, would you mind going one more? Thank you. Good evening. So this summer, we are going to have the RAMP program again. That's the Reading and Math Power program. But because of budget concerns, we cut the program back a little bit, so it will only be literacy this summer. It will run from July 1st to July 25th, Monday through Thursday. We're going to have between 40 to 50 students. And what we'll do is focus literacy support for students who are in need. The program will be taught by 4 teachers. We will also be hiring a coordinator. We are going to be using a balanced literacy approach. I put kind of a little icon there to kind of give you some idea of what that balanced literacy approach is. We know that providing students with support in all areas, including reading, writing, and word study, are significant and have a huge impact on their reading development. We will also be using what is considered an intervention model. That's where we are going to identify the specific needs that students have and target them. We are also looking into having PHS volunteers come in and sit and read with some of our students, and hopefully they can get some of their community service hours.
Additional professional learning opportunities for instructional leaders and the administration team. We are going to have our end of the year summit for this year on June 19th. That was our snow day. We have a program and we're in the process of planning, but we are going to pretty much look at data and all different data points throughout the year. Data that is available through the state website and data that is available through PowerSchool. And through the data, because the numbers don't lie, we will have adjusted theory of action, we would have plans for future summits, and we will determine what the school improvement plans are going to be. In order to continue the work, we are going to, as an administration, have a retreat through the Center of Schools Change, August 21st and 22nd, and then August 23rd, we come as a full group to debrief all the learning opportunities that happened during those 2 other days, and then that we'll sit down to craft our school improvement plan and district improvement plan. Then we will come on August 26th with all that information, but at that point we include all the instructional leaders and resource teachers at that time. In between that, we are going to also welcome our new teachers, and we're going to have the new teacher academy on August 19th and 20th, and that is an invitation to you, to the board, to come and meet our new recruits, and the program will be from 8 to 1 both days. Then we will have our convocation, which heroically will be planned, and is on August 28th. Again, that's another invitation to you to join us for convocation at 8:30. And then we will have our first faculty professional learning day on August 29th. And that concludes our busy summer for you. Okay, any questions? Oh.
Yeah, Vicki was going to speak about the special education programming at Linden and the high school.
So in special education, the federal legislation, IDEA, requires us to consider extended school year for any child for 3 main reasons. The first is that they may lose critical skills or they might fail to recover them in a reasonable amount of time compared to typical peers, oftentimes due to the nature and severity of their disability, or when learning is crucial to attaining self-sufficiency and independence from caregivers. Those are reasons that the law requires us to provide those services. This summer, we will be providing services for about 1/3 of our special education population. We have about 115 students scheduled to participate in a variety of different programs, some of which we're very lucky to have sort of piggybacking onto some of the regular education programs, like our RAMP program. A number of the kids are participating in that program, and because we have that program available in district, they do not need a specialized program. We have some kids who are participating in RAMP but may get a small amount of special education service to help support their needs. We have additionally 9 classrooms that will be running for elementary, middle, and high school kids primarily with significant and developmental disabilities. We are also very lucky to be partnering with the New Britain Youth Theater as well, and incorporating several of our students with special needs into that program, where they will be participating and working again on their social skills and communication skills, and we're very excited to have that new partnership this year as well. So that's what we'll be doing this summer. We do run 5 weeks instead of the 4, so we are July 1st to August 1st, from Monday through Thursday from 9 to 12, and our staff will be both at Linden and at the high school. So thank you.
Does the board have any questions with regard to the summer programming?
I just had a question for the ramp. What are the ages of the students that are going to be involved in that?
Excellent question. So there are going to be students who are transitioning from kindergarten into first grade and students who are going from third grade into fourth grade. So the way we categorize that is kindergarten through third grade students are going to participate.
Is this for the students that are strictly special education needs children, or it could be for anybody?
No, as Mrs. Trzynski just mentioned, we combine the program. We work together very closely. We look to identify, the way that we do it is in February, we take a look at the data, which indicates that there are some students who are performing below grade level, and at that time we extend an invitation to them and their family to participate. And for various reasons, there are some who cannot commit to the full 4 weeks, whether it has something to do with childcare or they've made vacation plans. But what we do try to do is invite students who are performing below grade level, and this is a way of extending their school year and providing them some more time learning, but even more importantly, we are targeting and focusing the support in the area of literacy. And like I said earlier previously in math, but in the area of literacy, trying to provide them with the direct prescription that will actually help improve their reading. Thank you. Any other questions? If you do have any, please feel free to reach out to us. We'd be more than happy. Yeah.
I just had a question about the New Britain Youth Theater. Is that
New Britain
also
Youth Theater?
just for is that mostly for special education children, or is this for any children that are interested in getting involved?
It's actually a regular education program. It is not meant for kids with special needs. However, it has always been, historically, even when it wasn't being housed in Plainville, an inclusive program. So they have incorporated several students who have been previously involved in other places. So I would say, Maureen, do you know how many? I think they're up to 30.
They
about
can take
30
between
kids.
30 and 40, but yes, the flyers went home a couple months back, and it is open to actually all kids up through grade 12 in various capacities. The little ones come toward the end and have smaller roles, but everyone gets a part. We're doing Mary Poppins this year, so that promises to be very exciting. But yes, they're a good organization that incorporates all children of all abilities. And just as another component to our summer program, Mr. LePage worked with our food services director, Mike Koch, to ensure that our children who are attending our summer programs are going to have opportunity for free breakfast and lunch, is it? So those will be served free of charge, both at Linden and here at the high school. And any child in the building at the time that those meals are served can have a free meal. And it's all covered by largely state and federal grants. So it's another nice component of our summer program that our children will have 2 healthy meals a day while involved in our programs. So that, one more thing I want to add to my report is a thank you to Joan for arranging all these wonderful refreshments this evening, as well as helping me out organizing the awards. Actually, not helping me out, doing all of the organizing, never mind helping, making me look good. Truly could not do it without her, and as you can tell, it was a rather busy night for awards, and she kept it on the straight and narrow, and everyone got the right award, and all is well here in Plainville Community Schools. So thank you very much, Joni. And that does conclude my report for this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Brummett. Next, we'll go on to our student representatives report. Eddie?
All right, so I don't have very much to say because we're wrapping up tonight. But I am going to start with last week. So the seniors celebrated their athletic achievements at the AquaTurf with our awards night, and the PE classes went on their annual canoe trip last Monday. So to speed things up to this week, graduation's quickly approaching. We're only 8 days away, and pending good weather, the ceremony will take place at 7 o'clock on the football field on the 18th. So this week, Monday and Tuesday, are all about wrapping up our academics. Tomorrow's my last academic day, so it's an exciting time, but also a bittersweet time to be leaving such a tremendous district. Final exams start Wednesday, June 12th, and run to Monday the 17th for the underclassmen and the seniors who have to take them. And then at the end of this week, the seniors have graduation rehearsals starting Friday, and then we'll have them again on Monday and Tuesday. And the final thing happening this week is our Night of Excellence will be held in the auditorium on Thursday, June 13th at 7 to recognize the seniors who won scholarships or earned recognition throughout the year. And for some extracurriculars, our girls tennis team had both of its seniors advance to the state tournament. Unfortunately, they were eliminated, but we are proud of their performance this season, and congrats to the tennis team for being conference champions. The boys and girls track team also had fantastic seasons with significant personal improvement. Many members moved on to invitational meets, conference meets, and states. Our baseball team made it to the state championships, but unfortunately did not make it to the second round. They ended with a strong season record of 12-8. The softball team again moved on to championships, fell short in their first game, but ended with a record of 11-11. So just want to extend a final congratulations to all our teams for fantastic seasons this year. I think that the majority of our sports teams did make it to the state championships this year. Whether or not they won or just made it into the first round, it's impressive either way. And finally, I'd like to close with a sincere thank you to all of you for inviting me to be on the board this year. It's been a fantastic experience, and I'm very grateful to have spent the last school year with you guys, so thank you.
Thank you. And next, we have Mrs. Terrell. We have two, facilities and policy.
There was no meeting of the facility. I was going to say the facilities. The facilities or policy meeting or policy committees.
Okay.
Just combine the facilities.
Dual job there. Okay, Mrs. Peterson, Finance Subcommittee report.
The budget status, on May 28th, we had a meeting to discuss the board's budget in light of the $100,000 cut from the council and the projected $130,000 in realized savings. In short, the board agreed to utilize the realized savings to prepay for diesel fuel, legal fees, as well as reinstate the secure entrance design at PHS. These realized savings allocations will allow the board to reinstate the cut behavior tech position at the PHS and restore the Wheeler literacy tutor to full-time, as well as the benefits for these positions. Both the board and the administration were in agreement that restoring staff and security measures were top priorities. That's it for now.
Thank you. And next, we go on to the turf committee report. Mr. White.
Actually,
There is
no turf report.
Nope. Oh, okay.
Then the high school.
Yeah.
The last PAC meeting was on May 8th, which was just before our last board meeting, so the report was given there. But at this point, I would like to just point out how the apple does not fall far from the tree. We have sitting out in the audience one of the primary movers of that PAC, and Wendy Ron really is sitting there, and she is, has led her daughter so well. All the work that Maddie has done, I think a lot. I don't want to take away from you, Maddie, but your mom did an absolutely stellar job with all of the hard work. It's a very small PAC at the high school, but they are a dedicated group of ladies that have done a phenomenal job raising money for scholarships, and they changed this year. They gave pins to all the super seniors, and using, I think it was a great step forward. It's just great leadership, but really the work that Maddie and her committee did, I think just deserve a tremendous amount of appreciation. They've worked hard, and I just personally, it's a joy to go to those meetings. Thank you so much. To the two of you.
Next, we have the PAC liaison for Tafalon, Mrs. Consalvo.
The Tafalon garden is definitely in bloom. We have already harvested some kale, and the students are enjoying a few different flavors of kale chips. Teflon has been busy with field trips and end-of-the-year activities, and there are still some more to come. The PTO family picnic is coming up on Thursday evening, and we're hoping that the rain will hold out. Yearbooks will be distributed at the picnic. And Teflon has had a great year, and the PTO has supported many, many educational and fun activities. And that's all for Teflon.
Mrs. Wells?
No report from Linden. The last PTO meeting was back in May, and I reported back in May.
Okay. Mrs. St. Lawrence, the middle school?
Yeah, we met briefly last Tuesday night just to make sure we were ready for our 8th grade promotional dance, which is on Monday, and we're ready for that. And it's pretty much it. Yeah, good weather. All those kids outside. So that.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Ms. Palmieri?
Not much to report. Not much to report. Last meeting was just going over final plans for graduation, yearbooks, and 5th grade activities.
Mrs. Tyrell, correct?
I attended the Correct Council meeting, it was the annual meeting of the Correct Council in mid-May. Again, we talked legislatively about what was going on at that point in time, but it's now a moot point because things have gone in a different direction, a better direction, I should say.
That's it. And for the chair's report, the board is currently in process of negotiations with office professionals. June 13th, we will be starting with custodian negotiations. And PHS senior Andrew Kane received a $1,000 scholarship from the Pettit Be the Change Award. Andrew received this award for extensive volunteer in the community and church. His major at UConn will be engineering in the honors program. Congratulations to him, and thank you to the Pettits for this. And that's all I have to report. Any unfinished business?
If I could just interject, the next negotiations for both the custodians and the office professionals are the 25th.
25th.
The date you referenced had been canceled due to the non-availability of their union representation at the state. So the 25th, beginning at 10, is the custodians, and the office professionals at noon. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, board open forum. Does anybody have anything they'd like to talk about?
Just one thing I noticed at the middle school, and getting back to what Mr. LePage was pointing about the ruler, during the middle school concert, there was a unique approach taken by Mrs. Schwartz, Laura Schwartz. She used that mood meter for her students to place where that particular piece of music was to them individually on the ruler chart, which I think is beginning to show, I think, the real advantage that we have with both with mindfulness and social emotional learning. And I just was really impressed by and how the students did perform this. The concert for the middle school was really great. And but I really I just think it's so positive to see that innovation and utilizing the concept of the ruler.
Thank you.
I have a couple things. First of all, I would like just to add my congratulations to the retirees. I lost a couple of, let me see, a first grade and a preschool teacher for my 20-something-year-old children tonight, and they're an awesome group of folks, and I hope they all have wonderful retirements. Our teacher of the year, also Marilyn Speranza, is really a very young but inspirational person. Every time I listen to her speak, I get a different perspective on things. Speaking of the apple not falling far from the tree, we also have to congratulate Chris St. Lawrence, but his mother over here, who serves on the Board of Education with us, because that's how, how Maddie got where she is, I think, too, by having a great role model, right? And Maddie, just listening, Mr. Guarino and I were getting tired listening to all the things that you're doing, so congratulations to you, and so glad. He's like, I need a nap. I said, I know. So it's congratulations to you, and it's been wonderful having you here this year. You've been a nice addition for us, and always with a smile, for sure. So I just wanted to say to our outgoing superintendent, I know we're meeting tomorrow, I'm talking about Maureen, but I did want to say that, I'm going to probably tell the same story tomorrow, but I'll say it too. When I was the chair of the board at some point, the superintendent came to me and said, we have a staff member, supervisor of special education. She's going to move to California, but it's temporary. We just need to give her a leave of absence because we need her back. And I said, we need her back? She goes, we need her back. She's going to come back. We have to, when she's ready to come back, we want her back. And that's the first thing I remember about Maureen, at the time her name wasn't Brummett. So, that was the first thing I remember thinking, well, this woman must be special. And sure enough, she has been, was, and I'm glad to say that she did come back after, what was it, Maureen, maybe 2 years? And so she came back, fit right back in like she never left in a lot of ways, and has been a wonderful leader for the district, and we will miss you greatly. And we wish you the best. I'm sure everything will go very well. I wanted to mention as well on business topics, I attended a CABE meeting, board of directors meeting this past week, and they have, we actually are focusing on ideas of regionalism, and people are sharing what different kinds of things they've been doing. So they're kind of creating a list of different ideas that people might not have thought of before. When I told them what we do, I got a lot of questions about how do you do that? How do you supervise these people who are, divided up amongst the town and the board? So there are a lot of people interested in what we do already. But the other item they have is they have developed something called an equity toolkit, and it was done by their committee on diversity. And it's really for the board and the board's work in equity, so it might match up really nicely with the committee that Mr. LePage referenced, and it might be something the board can do when we do a retreat. And I think it's a really worthwhile thing to look at. It's not a huge, significant document, but just some very good ideas about how to look at equity. And lastly, and then I'll be quiet, last month we had some kind of negative vibes in here. We had people talking to us about the board being dysfunctional, and so I wasn't going to say anything about it, but then it bothers me that people would think the board's dysfunctional. So I've been serving on this board for 18 years, and in that time frame, there have happened 3 separate occasions where the board felt as if a discussion needed to take place internally. And so what the board does is, in a very nice civil process, we have an internal conversation which stays internal, and which allows us to be able to deal with our own business and then move on. We don't sensationalize what happens. We deal with it, we move on, and we do what we do every single day, which is really deal with what's best for kids in the school district. And so anyone referring to this board as being dysfunctional is greatly misguided. That's the way I'll put it, because that's very far from the truth. And I want to say that because I don't want the general population to be concerned that there's some kind of underlying drama here. There is no drama. There is work, and that's what we're doing. Thank you.
Okay, I just have a couple of things. I wanted to also congratulate the retirees and our Teacher of the Year. We were very lucky to have all of you, and we wish you a great retirement. And to the students who volunteered at Wings and Wheels over the weekend, I wanted to say thank you. It was a great day. The weather was perfect. We may have broken records in the amount of people that came, and I'm very thankful for all the volunteers. And to Maureen, I can't say much because I'll start crying, but we're going to miss you a lot, and thank you for everything.
Does anybody else?
Oh, I'm
No,
sorry.
go ahead.
Pardon me. I just wanted to add my congratulations to the retiring teachers, as well as to say that we will miss Maureen. She's been tremendous supporter and advocate for education. We are very happy that have such a deep bench, a pool of people that we can draw on to get to replace her, like Steve. I also want to recognize the fact that what makes this district very successful is, and I just thought about it when retirees went up to speak, talking about the environment and just seeing their tears and just realizing how much you're going to miss us because of the people they work with. But I want to thank the parents, because you yourself and the success of your daughter and Crystal with your children, really the parents really are the drivers. It starts at home. If we don't have that at home, there's only so much we can do. We can't do magic, but it really is a great environment in Plainville, in the district, because the parents are just, for the most part, they're very supportive, and they really want their kids to be successful. So I just want to thank everyone in the district, administration, the teachers, everyone, custodial, for doing a wonderful job, and what a wonderful year, and the continuing work you do through the summer as well. Thank you very much.
I also just wanted to wish, happy retirement to the teachers that retired this evening. It was very touching to hear the stories that, backed them up, and it just kind of, made my heart melt a little bit. It's really nice to hear that we have, such amazing staff, and anyways, I wanted to just congratulate them, and also congratulations to you. And congratulations to all our graduates in the next few days. Also, I wanted to congratulate Maureen, and we are going to miss you. But, you got a wonderful future ahead of you, so. And we have Steve.
You're in very good hands with Steve.
And we have Steve, and hopefully he'll keep our videos short. Anyway.
Anybody else? No? Okay. I would just like to say, Dr. Brummett, it was a pleasure having you serve for the time that you have in the school system. We truly appreciate all that you have done for our children, our instructors, and for giving us Steve as well. But could we just call you in case we're in need of you to kind of keep them in the straight and narrow?
I'm always available for a phone call, though I know Steve is going to lead the ship very, very well.
There you go. Oh, that's right. I forgot about the ship. But yes, thank you to everybody, for all our instructors, and for the retirees. Yes, please enjoy your retirement, and we will continue on, I'm sure. Thank you, everybody. So that concludes that. And Dr. Brummett, can I ask you, is there anything that you need to say for Sam for the quarterly special education?
Yes.
Thank you.
Boy, we're having a good night of positive news. Our special ed report, thanks to Vicki and her department, is extraordinarily positive. It looks like we will finish off the year with about a $25,000 balance in that line, and that's not a story you hear too often in the world of special ed. So, but as you've heard from Vicki and her department in reports throughout the year, they work tirelessly to keep our students in district. That's not easy to do, but they do it well. And this year we kept those numbers low, and we're also very careful about billing for any of our students who are coming in from Hartford. We make sure we get billing for full reimbursement. So with all those efforts, and then our excess cost did come in as predicted, that's always a helpful amount of money. So between all of those resources and incoming expenditures, we do anticipate ending the year with about a $25,000 balance. So thank you, Vicki and department and teachers, for that excellent bit of news. And that now with ECS going up a little bit, the work of the special ed department, and TRB not getting passed along to the town, we got some very positive news this spring, which we need to bask in the joy of that, because sometimes the news isn't positive fiscally, but this year it really has been. So that is my special ed report on behalf of Sam.
Thank you. Moving on, may I get a motion to increase the school lunch prices?
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve the increase for school lunch prices.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in, oops, so any corrections or comments?
Well, I would just say that we're referencing lunch prices at 5 cents in each school, just for purposes of information.
Yes, and I have Mike Koch here if anyone has any questions, but we are also ending the year on a surplus in our lunch department, with hats off to Mr. Koch. But what we thought, based on an analysis after an auditor reported to us that our lunch prices were a bit low for the region, we thought, let's just do an incremental increase this year at 5 cents, which won't hopefully impact families too negatively. And because in previous increases, it was a significant, like a 25-cent increase when things got a little behind. So with guidance from Mr. Koch and review of auditor reports, we thought an incremental increase such as that would be the smart move, even though we are ending the year on a positive note. And then we'll analyze that with Mr. LePage, Mr. Adlerstein, and Mr. Koch to see, if there's any future increases needed next year. But, it's important to note we have not raised lunch prices since 2014. So that's a significant length of time that we have not done that. And we don't take it lightly, because we want to be mindful of our families. But that is a very small increase, and it'll also increase our revenues, anticipated a $7,000 impact on revenues for next year. So a small increase, but I think it is warranted, and so appreciate if the board would support that.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Madam Chairman, I request that the board approve the new superintendent's contract that was agreed to in executive session this evening.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. That's yours, Steve.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Steve.
Congratulations.
And next for the consent agenda, Dr. Brummett, do you have anything for Sam on any of these?
Only if the board has any questions. Those are fairly straightforward, requests, and nothing out of the ordinary.
I put forward the consent agenda as designated, as presented. Thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
No rush on that one, is there? We didn't vote. We gotta stay here.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.